see if this is working, hopefully. I'm just going to go to my channel and double check super quick if I'm live, because I don't see. Oh, there's one thumbs up, but it doesn't say there's a person here. Oh, yeah, there we go. It says I am live. I am muted. That's good. Oh, there we go. I'm starting to see comments pour in. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. My name is Kasia, and in today's video, I'm going to share some sad news, and we're going to talk about the lifespan of Betta Fish. Unfortunately, Demon Betta, which was, I know, one of my favorites as well as one of your favorites, passed away. He lived to be, not counting when I first got him because I don't know his age, he lived to be about, it was 1 year and 11 months and 26 days. I would say, we round it up, that would be 2 years in my care, plus however old he was. And Bettas from the pet stores can be anywhere between 3 months to a year old. So he could, in theory, have been 3. He could have been 2.5, maybe. We don't really know exactly. And that kind of makes to kind of think about Betta Fish lifespans. I'm going to quickly take a look at the chat right here. It says Big City Bettas is here. Sashimi Whiskey is here. All S Whiskey Vision now, renamed. Fancy Fancy's here. Who else we have? We have Orlando Children here. So that is really awesome. So one of the most common things I've noticed is if you Google the Betta Fish's lifespan, you get a website that tells you that their average lifespan is 3 to 5 years old. And occasionally online you hear a random story of my Betta Fish lived to be 8 years old, which is rare, but it happens sometimes. And that's been kind of got me thinking. I went ahead and asked a couple different Betta breeders and Betta caretakers what their average lifespan is. And surprisingly, for most people, it doesn't seem to go past 4 years old. And it seems to be somewhere between 2 and 4. Some people say 1 and 3. So it seems to vary, but the average lifespan seems to be shorter than what we believe. Now, let me pause and take a look at some of the comments before I continue. Aquatic Express says, "Hi, sorry about Demon Betta." Thank you. I saw he's been getting sick over time, and it wasn't really so much a specific disease in a sense that his body from old age has been deteriorating. And I've been kind of wondering, you know, since he was about a little over 2-ish, between 2 and 3, let's say, how come he deteriorated at that age? And after talking to a couple of different breeders, the thing that seems to be popping up is the heat that you keep your Betta in and how fast you grow them out actually affects their lifespan. So, for example, if you keep a fish at a lower temperatures as a average pet person would, so let's say, in theory, someone keeps a Betta in a bowl, and that bowl is unheated and it is at room temperature, which let's theoretically say is 72 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So while that fish is going to have possibly a bit of a harder time digesting food because of the lower temperature, because the temperature dropped, it actually will affect the fish's metabolism. So the fish will metabolize food slower, it will grow slower, and that might actually be why some of the Bettas that are kept as pets might actually have longer lifespans, while the Bettas that are bred, especially in Asian countries where it's fairly tropical and warm and where people feed their Bettas really high quality, more natural food, so they'll feed them things that are more bug-based and protein-based. It seems like those fish have shorter lifespans, surprisingly, because they grow out so fast. So one of the interesting things that you'll notice is a lot of people that are starting to breed Betta fish, you know, will take maybe 6 to even 8 months before their fish is large enough and mature enough to sell their fish. But then you go on places like Aquabit, and you look at some fish that look, their finnage is long, they look like fish that are the same age as, say, a 6 to 8 month old fish, and surprisingly, their fish is only 3 months old because they grew them out so fast. So those fish already might end up having shorter lifespans. But also, I get distracted by the comments. Big City Betta says, I find that to be incredibly surprising most of the time. I live well past 4 to 5. Many make it upwards of 8+, and I keep many tanks at 80 degrees always. That's the thing. Amber, I haven't asked you. I asked a couple other people, but I haven't factored in it. And of course, I can't say that after I asked like 4 people that seems to be, oh, my microphone just fell, that seems to be the average. Right now we are in complete Kasia theory land, so none of what I'm saying is like fact. I'm just saying that compared to what I saw online and what's been happening to me and a couple other people, I was surprised. I don't know, maybe there's something different that you're doing, Amber, that maybe we should be doing that's kind of affecting the fish. I'd be actually curious. One of those times, maybe even today, I'll have to talk to you and ask you some questions. But that's kind of what I've been theorizing about, that the temperature might be affecting them. The other thing that I've had people say is that it depends on how the fish were bred. So some fish that were heavily line bred will have poorer genetics and will have shorter lifespans. Let's see. Aranda Children says, mine live about 2 years at best, and I've only kept a handful of bettas. See, for me personally, the first original bettas I've had, I've never kept track of their lifespan, so I can't really say how old they are. But it seems for my current fish right now, I haven't gotten past 3 years old. So that has led me to kind of question my own husbandry skills to see if that is something that is because that, am I doing something wrong in my husbandry? Or pet husbandry refers to how you keep an animal. So am I doing something wrong with the way I keep my betta fish that is shortening their lifespan, for example? Or am I closer to an average of other people? And it's something I've been trying to figure out. It's kind of hard for me to figure out, and that's why I've been asking people around. I actually did some polls on some Facebook groups to see how old fish are for different types of people, and that's why I wanted to kind of make a live stream about it, because it's something I've been wondering about. And because I am starting the betta breeding project, I've actually started the first set of filming before I breed my fish, and I'm going to be hopefully putting out the first breeding video on Wednesday. Depending on if they breed or not, I'll just probably show what oh, hello, Mookie. Hey, hello. Mookie decided to join us. He's right here. I'm petting him. So I'm going to be sharing that, hopefully. But that's kind of something I've been wondering about. Let me look at the comments a little more. Mookie, are you going to help me look at the comments? Are you going to rub? Good thing I don't have this mic. I usually use this microphone, but it's not on. I'm actually using the webcam. And it's good because he likes to rub on that microphone. And there's Cat Bud. I can't see the audience now. You're blocking everyone with your butt. Now I gotta move everything over. Okay. Let me see if I can, because the comments are going a little fast. We've got 60 people here with 22 thumbs up. I don't mind if you guys don't thumb up this video because Demon Betta died. This is not like a thumb up topic. So let's see. Big City Bettas, it can't be just me. I'm not special, but I know that how a fish is raised, fed from the very start matters a whole lot. Pet shop bettas never used to last long for me. See, that's the thing that might separate me and you. I've so far, besides the one imported male, I have never owned a fish from. Oh no, wait, I lied. I have one female betta from Flora Aquatics. So I have one female that was bred by another breeder. I have one imported male, and then all of my fish are pet store, particularly Petco bettas. So I wonder if that plays a role. Of course, now I currently have the fish I bred, and so far they're doing fine. But I wonder how their lifespan is going to last. And luckily, I'll try to keep in touch with some of the people I've also sold some of my fry to. So hopefully I can see how long their fish are living as well, to kind of see if there is a difference between my fish that I've bred myself and the Petco fish. And Amber, I need to get one of your bettas one of those days to see if they're. Oh, Mookie, are you gonna be here? Are you gonna leave? Mookie's like, I'm done. Or are you gonna lay down? He's thinking, oh, there we go. He's gonna join us. That's a good spot. that's a good spot for you. Now everyone can enjoy your cuteness. Are you gonna fall asleep? Okay, you take a nap right here. Let me look at the comments again. Also, I appreciate all of those of you guys that are mods that are in the stream, and you're helping me a lot because I tend to get distracted when I talk a lot. So I'm not looking into the comments as much as I would. Let's see. Yeah, everyone is Big City Bettas and Life with Pets are helping moderate, which I really, really appreciate right now. Joe Betta Vlogs is asking, what age do you recommend jarring baby bettas? As soon as aggression becomes a problem. I've only bred one spawn, so I don't really have enough experience to give you like a good time frame. Because I did notice it's a little different breeder to breeder, and so I would say just watch your fry. Some a little bit of aggression is okay. As soon as you see any fish that's like really harassing another fish or any fin nipping, take out the aggressors. If you're not sure, it wouldn't hurt to maybe jar your fish a little earlier, especially if you're new. Like for me, as soon as I felt I should jar, I just did. And over time, you will kind of figure out like a sweet spot of when is a good time. It also helps to watch other videos from other YouTubers. Big City Bettas did a video on when she jars her fish. So look at what other people are doing. It'll kind of give you a better idea. Because I'm still, this is going to be my second time I'm spawning. So it's hard for me to answer a lot of breeding questions because I still am very much a beginner in this. So let's see. Let me look at something. Sophia says, my Betta has fin rot. Sadly, I got aquarium salt and have 3-gallon tank. How much should I put in? Actually, I don't know off the top of my head the exact measurement. So I would have to either maybe Amber might know because she's magical, or I would Google it just to be sure. But off the top of my head, I don't remember. But one of the things that really helps for fin rot is a lot of water changes. So try to increase your water changes, and that in itself should already start to help your fishy. Oh, there we go. Of course you knew. Aquarium salt is 1 tablespoon to 5 gallons. See, Amber, I hadn't even knew it. She knows. She knows all the things. She's just full of wisdom. She's like, if you guys want to imagine what she looks like, just imagine a pretty, like, owl of wisdom with long, flowy, dark hair or something like that. I don't know. I'm so derpy today. Or you can actually, I have a live stream with her. So if you want to see lovely Amber, go on a quest on my YouTube channel and find the live stream we have together. Kendall's Critters official stop copying. That's an interesting name. It says hi in the comments, and for some reason I got really distracted by that really quickly. So let's go back to the topic of Betta lifespan. It's a difficult one, I think, for me at least, to kind of figure it out. And the worst thing is, as a Betta YouTuber, I feel a lot of pressure to do everything as right and as correctly as possible because a lot of people are watching my videos and people will be emulating what I'm doing. And then B, eventually after you make enough videos on YouTube and you grow a sub count, people in the community expect you to get everything right, or at least most of the time, and people will judge you, especially experienced fish keepers will judge you if you put out information that might be incorrect or false. So not only did I get really sad after Demon Betta died because he was one of my favorites, and it's always the favorites that tend to live shorter for some reason. But not only was I upset, but then I'm also sitting here like thinking about, there's other people that might be upset that, also were watching Demon Betta and got attached to him like I have. And then I started sitting there thinking, like, is there something I could have done to prevent this? Is there something I could have done for him to have a longer life? I mean, of course, there's also, accidents that happen. I had this beautiful, beautiful male. He was this like silvery copper half moon. And his name was Shishomaru. He's in a couple older videos. And when I put him in a smaller tank with one of those little tiny one temperature preset heaters, the heater malfunctioned and he kind of sort of cooked and died. And I only had him for only like 2 or 3 months. So that was really frustrating and upsetting, because that was something that, even though I didn't do it myself, it was a malfunctioning of aquarium equipment. I still felt really bad, because you're always thinking about like, oh, what if I checked his temperature on the tank like a couple hours earlier, like walked in my room and checked it, maybe I could have caught it rising and could have removed him or removed the heater before it got up. But what if I prevented it? So as a YouTuber, the cons of being a pet YouTuber is people will pay close attention to what you're doing, and there's a lot of pressure that I'm feeling. So I really want to be the best I can in terms of taking care of my pets to the best of my ability, because I really care about my fish. And I know some people will think of fish as just fish, and might not get emotionally attached to them, but I do. And that's one of the things that has been bothering me. And I want my fishies to live a long time, and I really want to figure out if there is something maybe I'm not doing as well as I could. By asking other breeders and figuring it out, maybe I could improve some care. With some things are out of my hands. Of course, if I acquire fish from other breeders or pet stores or import, how they were bred and the genetics, that's something I can't control. And of course, there's also like random incidental things like diseases spreading, a fish getting sick from another fish that you brought in and maybe didn't quarantine something correctly, or something got contaminated, or there's just luck. Like sometimes you just have bad luck and just something happens wrong and your fish dies. So there's things you can't control, which is still frustrating, but it can be one of the things that contributes to a possible earlier death of a betta fish. I've been rambling a little bit. Let's see. Kennel's Career says, I used to be emotional when a fish died, but so many died it doesn't hurt as much. Even though I get attached to my fish, I have noticed the more fish I have acquired, because as you can see, I have quite a bit of tanks. Before, back in the day, I used to only have usually no more than 3 males at most. I should just have like 1 or 2 or 3 community tanks, and would always have a male betta in them. So then when they died, I did find myself getting a lot more upset, because I would get attached to them a lot more. But it is true, if you get more fish, you still care about your fish. And I don't think people that are breeders or people that have a lot of pets don't necessarily care less for their pets. But I did notice that I'm not as strongly attached to every single fish now. So I mean, it does happen. I mean, I still do care a lot. But for example, if say Banana died, my border collie, or Mookie died, I think I would have a lot big of a harder time, and I would be grieving a lot more than one of my fish. So I am emotionally attached to some of my pets a bit more than the others, but I still do care about my fish quite a lot, because they're all special. They all have different personalities. They're all a little different in their own way. It's pretty sad. The one thing that upsets me the most is when someone's pet dies and other people dismiss it or show no interest. I feel like if someone has a pet, and maybe you particularly don't care about a certain type of pet or species, not everyone has to be super emotionally invested in all the animals in the world. I feel like you should still be respectful of that person's feelings. I think one of the most hurtful things that happened to me when I was a kid is when I used to have 2 pet mice, and mice don't live that long. So eventually they got old, and then they died of old age. And I remember my grandma, who doesn't really think of mice as pets, because she comes from, she's in Poland, and there they live on farms. So mice are usually a pest animal on farms. When my pet mice died, she was like, "Ah, good riddance, that you don't have those mice anymore." And as a kid, oh man, that really upset me because I was already sad that my pets died, and on top of that, someone was just like, "Ah, whatever," completely dismissed like my feelings and emotions, and I got so mad. So I think it's very important that regardless of if you care about a certain animal or not, like let's say theoretically someone has a pet tarantula or something, maybe you don't like spiders, maybe you're afraid of spiders, and then their pet tarantula dies, and you might be like, whatever, because you don't care about spiders, for example. You still should try to be respectful and keep the other person's feeling in mind, because to them, that tarantula that you might not like, still, it was their pet, and they might have been very emotionally attached to it. It might have brought them joy in its own little way. So that's a little random tangent I went on. I should probably look at the comments again. So a lot of people are talking in the comments. Charles is here from the channel Thor Unleashed, decided to join us. I actually haven't checked, but I know Charles posted a picture on Instagram of Thor with baby kittens. His dog Thor is the cutest husky ever. And I don't know if he put out a video about it yet or not. I'll have to check, but I would love to see a video of kittens and Thor. I think this is the perfect time in my life right now where I'm a little sad and about my fish dying, that I would like to look at some cute kittens and huskies. That would be lovely. Lexi Flexi says, is it possible to overdose on almond leaf tannins in a breeding tank? I don't think so. I mean, unless you legitimately take like a whole bag of Indian almond leaves and like shove it in your tank. I don't know, maybe. I have no clue, to be honest, but usually you want to have a good amount of tannins in your tank. That's really a good question. I wonder what other Betta peoples in the comments here have to say about this. Rascal Heart 8 AJ says, RIP Demon Betta. Summer Nick says, what got you into fish keeping? Really weird story, actually. It was a science experiment for middle school. I don't remember. I think I was like in 5th or 6th grade, but I was really interested about fish. I think I did have a Betta in a bowl before that, because I mean I didn't know anything about fish keeping. And then after that, I did some research and I got interested in fish, and I wanted to do an experiment where I got a 10-gallon, no, it was a 20-gallon long, and I divided it with those little cheap like dividers that you can buy at Petco, I think, or was it PetSmart? And then I got tetras and I divided them. It was so stupid. I put 2 tetras in each section, and I did different setups for them. So one had like only, I think it was like black gravel, nothing. And the middle part had decorations and some gravel, and the third part had live plants and some gravel. And I wanted to experiment if the environment affects the fish's well-being and their natural behaviors. But picking tetras and then dividing a school, fish like the school into just a pair of 2 wasn't a good idea. Also, picking tetras for this experiment was not a good idea. That experiment went nowhere pretty much, and those fish kind of hung out in those dividers, and eventually I took apart the divider and just let them all live together in a 20-gallon long. And that is why that tank, which is actually, it's that tank that I used for it, has gravel that is black and blue for some reason. It's because I used black gravel and then blue gravel, and eventually I mixed all the gravel together. It was a really weird, failed, like in my head when I was a kid at that time, it made a lot of sense. But luckily the fish were okay, but it wasn't the best idea in the world. I think before that I tried putting the tetras in a bowl with plants, and then I didn't know, because I thought that tetras can be in a bowl, like a Betta could be in a bowl, but I think those 2 died because obviously they ran out of oxygen. So My fish keeping hobby started out of a bit of a failure, but also out of curiosity. And then to this day, I'm always curious about stuff. Even today, how I'm, questioning the whole lifespan thing, because, I'm wondering, of course, the lifespan of bettas are going to be different from person to person. Depends on what you feed, how you keep your bettas, where your fish come from. So even if I come up with like a theory of like how long your fish will live and what will happen, it won't apply to everyone. And that is, I think, the biggest problem in pet care industry as well as fish keeping industry, is the whole idea of, here are these presets of what you should do with fish, and you got to do this specifically, and if you do this specifically, your fish will react accordingly to these specific things. And even with breeding bettas, even if you recreate the same exact breeding setup that I have, you will still probably have a different outcome. You may have a pair that will want to breed. You may have a pair that might not want to breed. Even in my setup, my pairs might not want to spawn, or something might go wrong. Fish and animals in general, and not robots, they're living creatures, and they all react differently to like a plethora of things. So in a way, fish keeping is like one big science experiment where we do our best to make theories. We test them out. We use theories that other people have created, that have tested and worked for them, and we try to apply that. And then we also try to problem solve when we do come up with different problems, to try to create the best environment and situation in life for our pet fish. Let me look at some more comments. Would newts be good with bettas? I've never kept a newt. I don't really know anything about them, but I don't know how big they get. And whenever there's any sort of larger critters, I always wonder if they would eat a betta. That's something to keep in mind, and something to kind of Google what they eat. Because if they eat anything slightly larger, they might eat a betta. And also, I don't know what kind of parameters. So are they? Do they require colder or warmer temperatures? What are the pH requirements? Just like check those things, and it'll help you figure out if a certain animal is compatible with another animal. Let's see what else is going on in the comments. Big City Betta is responding to easy fish keeping Asia with, I prefer daily water changes, salt, and heat over 86 degrees. I think, are you talking about acre or something? I'm guessing, maybe. Or are you talking about breeding? I don't know. That's a good question. Looking at the comments. Also, we have 76 people. Oh, dropped to 75. Look at that. I spoke and we lost one in this live stream. Now, this live stream is not going to be very long. I actually might end it in a few minutes. Oh, there's Mookie again. Mookie, where are you going? Are you up to something? You better not try to jump on there. Hey, no, don't paw at the fish. Mookie, hey, you. Oh, banana is just herded him away. So one of the reasons, since we're observing the natural behaviors of my critters, one of the reasons I actually keep all of my fish in this room is because when I'm not in here, the door is closed and the cats are not allowed. So all night and all day, if I'm not in this room, door is closed, because I do not trust Mookie. Mookie has jumped on tanks. He has knocked lights over in previous tanks. He has, even if I put glass lids, like nothing is safe. He seems to find a way to destroy everything. And Banana's like starting to get really good at herding him away, but that's one random thing. Even though this live stream is supposed to be about Betta lifespans, if you want your Betta to live a long time, keep your crazy kitties at bay. Some kitties behave a lot better around fish tank than others, but if you have ones like me, like Mookie, then oh, Banana's over here too, by the way. She's just being a banana ball, trying to move out of the way so you can see the banana ball. So she has joined us. I can't even pronounce this screen name. It says Nailtech. Oh, I can. Nailtech 629 Costa says, I'm so sorry for your loss. Just wanted to let you know I've been following your videos for months now. You have been such an inspiration. Loving this new hobby. Thanks to you. I really appreciate it. I hope that I can get a lot more people into betta care and fish keeping in general, whether it's on a crazy big scale like me. Well, technically this is not a big scale. I mean, compared to like how many of the fish tanks other hobbyists have, I have like only a little amount of fish. But if I can get you to get one little tank and enjoy it, or a couple tanks, as long as you find something that you like and explore a new hobby and the world of fish keeping, as long as you're happy, it makes me happy. It makes it worthwhile. Because one of the reasons I started a YouTube channel is because originally I was lurking a lot of other pet care channels. So one of the older channels was Piggy Pig Pigs, which was a guinea pig YouTube channel. And they still, I don't think they make as many videos now, but they used to make a lot of videos. And they're one of the first people, not I wouldn't say first, but one of the channels that got popular for making custom guinea pig cages. Because YouTube was this awesome place back in the day, and it still is now, for people who shared ideas of how to go above and beyond to make something better for your pets. So back then, people used to, go for the generic cages for pets and generic aquariums and what they could buy at the store, because that was, what was available, and that was the information that was available to them. Because a lot of people, all the knowledge they get about pet care is what they learn from a pet store. But then with the loveliness of the interwebs, we got to access those people that are in the hobby that took it to the next level and went above and beyond and did something different and did something cool to improve the lives of their pets. And that kind of inspired me. And I came up with the idea of keeping my guinea pigs in my closet, which sounds crazy, but I had a window and I had a closet that was always open in my bedroom, and I let them have the entire floor of the closet. And it was in my bedroom. I was a little kid at the time, so I was there all the time. When Banana's barking, Daniel's here, but it allowed me to not keep them in a small cage, allowed me to let them live in a larger environment. So I made that video, and then after that I started making fish keeping and other videos, and I really want to try my best to show people what they can do with keeping their fish so that it's a little above what the basic requirements are. And it's what a lot of fish keepers do. If you noticed, with, for example, like with pets or other betta YouTubers, everyone is keeping their fish in 5-10 gallon or divided tanks. You don't see bettas in the generic bowl. And keeping bettas in a bowl was the industry standard for what you would learn at the pet store. Or, nowadays there's these little larger tanks, but they're not very big. So what we try to do is we try to, encourage you to give your fish that bit of extra space, that bit of extra nice clean water and a filter and a heater and some plants and all those things. And then you get to see how much happier your pets are. Because that's with any animal. If you do a little more than what is the bare minimum, your pet really greatly benefits. And the more you can do, the better. There's this awesome YouTuber, I completely forgot the name, but she is a bunny YouTuber, and she's made entire almost enclosures for her bunnies that are almost the size of an entire room. And it's so cool to see. The bunnies are so active. They're running, they're playing, they're having so much fun. And even with Mochi, when I let her out every day and she gets to be a little house bunny more and more, as she's slowly recovering from her surgery, she's such a much happier bunny than when she was when she's in her holding cage. Right now, currently, she's in the crate of Banana because she figured out how to jump out of her previous cage. But it really, really affects fish. If we fish and pets and cats and dogs, and I don't know how it applies to reptiles. My only experience is with amphibians. I used to have Pac-Man frogs back in the day when I was in my old previous relationship. My ex had Pac-Man frogs, and Pac-Man frogs are usually advertised as kept in a small enclosure where they kind of sit and do nothing all day. But we actually got one of those really large Tupperware containers. Now they weren't very tall, but they were very long and wide. And I drilled holes in all of them. We put a lot of substrate, and surprisingly, the big fat frog chubs used to move around and change locations fairly frequently. as she decided if she wanted to be in a hotter or a colder area, and she moved around. So even a Pac-Man frog that sits there and usually does nothing, if given the chance to explore and move around, will actually move a bit more. Of course, she wasn't like hopping around and moving everywhere all the time, but she was using the entire fairly large Tupperware container. Well, it wasn't Tupperware; it was a plastic like tub thing. But I used to have videos on them. I don't anymore because when that relationship ended, one of the things is because it was his pets. He told me I have to delete those videos. So unfortunately, you guys are missing out on Pac-Man Frog and Ferret Care videos because those used to be on my channel a long time ago. For those of you that have been with me for a long time, you've probably seen those videos, but unfortunately, they're not there. Mookie's back. I don't really see myself getting Pac-Man frogs again. They're interesting, but I like pets that are a little more active. Mookie, you just knocking things over, Look at him. He's bad kitty. Bad kitty. Trouble kitty. He's knocking over everything. So I just got really, really distracted and just went on a little rant for 6 minutes. Let's see. JH Aquatics is here and joined us. Yes, JH Aquatics, you are a mod. Do you feel fancy? Your fancy status. I try to add as much mods as possible so that way whenever I have a live stream, it's easier and less overwhelming for people to help moderate, so it's not just one person. And moderating is in a way like a volunteering thing. You don't have to moderate, but I really appreciate it. And if I ever make you a moderator, that doesn't mean you have to moderate my channel at all. Just you can if you want to. If you're not, that's fine. It just helps a lot because as you can see, I tend to ramble and I get really distracted, and then I'm not paying attention to the chat. And it is good to help keep spam from happening. I like to keep the chat family friendly, so anybody of any age can feel safe and welcome to contribute to the comments. Let me take a look at the comments. Speaking of the comments, OTU vlog. Is this your first stream? Actually, no. I've made a lot of live streams. Sometimes I delete live streams. So after they've happened, I'll leave them on for a couple days so people still have a chance to watch them. But if it's like a live stream where I'm rambling more and not providing as much insightful content, then I will probably delete it because I feel like it will kind of clutter up all the videos that I have. If there is a live stream that provides a little bit better information, I'll leave it up. And usually if I live stream with someone, I might leave it up as well. But I try not to have too many videos, especially because nowadays YouTube has this thing where when you scroll through the videos, it only lets you see a certain amount of videos for the newer videos. And then if you click on the oldest, it'll show you a certain amount. But those videos in the middle, unless you search or look through playlists, YouTube doesn't show that to you anymore. So I feel like that makes it a little harder for people to just browse through your channel to look at what kind of videos you have. So I try not to have too many. I almost have 300 videos. I'm getting close to that number. That's crazy. 300 videos. Lexi Flexies, how would I become a moderator? I randomly assign people's moderators. So if I see people popping up on these live streams often, and I see them contributing, or I see people comment on videos pretty often, if I remember, and I have a very bad memory, then I'll just randomly, assign people as a mod. It's not like a favorite thing. Sometimes there'll be like just random people that contribute. So just because you're a mod, you're just a little special, but you're not too special. Everyone is equally special here in my heart. Fenu S says, what is your oldest betta alive? Actually, Demon Betta was, I think, my oldest betta currently. That's one of my, I've acquired a lot of new bettas this previous year. So we'll see how long they will live. But that's one of the reasons I was kind of like really hard on myself, because he hasn't lived a very long time. I mean, I did keep him in higher temperatures. So that could have possibly, I don't know, it could have been a variety of things, but it really bothered me. And it's one of the things, I'll try to theorize and figure out and look at myself to try to see if I can improve my pet care. And also, hopefully, Charles from Thor Unleashed will maybe get into fish keeping. He used to have fish, so maybe we're going to pass on the fish fever to him and get him hooked. That's the plan, at least. So we'll see how that goes, but that would be really exciting. I love it. I love it when I get more people into the fish keeping hobby and annoying. Wah! Another one. Let's look at some more. One of those days, I'm going to try to figure out how to set up that live streams where you can have the actual comments section appear in the video, and maybe some other fancy things. So that way, when you guys, if you miss a live stream and you want to rewatch it, you'd be able to actually read the comments as well. Because there's a lot of cool and useful discussions that happen in the comments while I'm talking, and a lot of people are that are, I would consider Betta experts. They are in my comments. They're answering a lot of questions. A lot of people that have more experience than me. So there's useful tidbits that I feel like everyone could benefit from. So one of those days, I'm going to figure out how to do this. So everyone can figure it out. Life of Pet says hit the like button, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. A lot of people are responding to a lot of people. So I'm trying to see if there's any questions in regards to maybe lifespans. I'm trying to stay on the topic of lifespans, even though I kind of derailed from that topic a couple times. But, that's how it is with these lifespans. You have a general topic, but you're interacting with other lovely peoples. Easy Fish Keeping India says, thanks a lot, guys. Gotta go unbox some fish now. Ooh. That's always exciting, fish unboxings. One of those days, if I have more room for some more bettas, maybe set up another 20-gallon divided or something, I would love to import some bettas and maybe do an unboxing, or maybe get some from some breeders, maybe local breeders. Let's see, Dustin Miller says, where can I find shell dwellers? My shell dwellers, I got all through my local club. So it is the Greater Chicago Cichlid Association Club. So I would first try to check if either there is a fish club local to you. Another option is pet expos that are local to you. If any vendors are selling fish, they might. And also your local fish store either might carry them, or sometimes if you have a good relationship with your local fish store, they might special order something for you. So that could also be an option. For me, I've been getting a lot of awesome fish through the club. And actually this weekend, there is a GCCA club exclusive rare fish auction. So only members of the club can go to this auction. And they're going to bring in a lot of rare fish species, predominantly cichlids. So I don't know if I'll be able to get anything, because I am very limited in my space. But if I can find anything that's compatible with this 55-gallon, which, by the way, I'm slowly starting to set up. It's got water, it's running, and it has some snails in it. So there's something alive in there. But I am going to move a cycled sponge filter in here. There's an uncycled one with some filter media that's cycled in here to kind of slowly start to get it started. But I think I'm going to move another cycled sponge in here, and that will allow me to start adding very small amounts of fish. But if I can get a cool cichlid, an interesting species to share, I will. I will have to move my electric yellows into that tank, though, because they're in my quarantine tank right now, and it's the only spare tank I have, except the 30 I didn't set up. So I'm pretty limited. There's a possibility if I don't find anything, I'm not gonna buy, or if I find something cool but that I don't have space for, I'm not gonna get, because I don't want to overwhelm myself or get too many fish. By the way, all my lights are starting to turn off. The fish are going to sleep. So I have lights on timers, and I have those timers that you can plug in 2 lights in one. So that one was the first one to turn off. And then this row and then the shell dweller tank is on the same timer right there. And also because there's a window on this side, so this tank really gets more light. So I want, am I pointing there? I want this tank to get less light from the actual lights, because the window plus the lights, too much, and then there's algae problems. So right now I had a bit under control, but this means that this is the first set to turn off. And then I have another set that's connected to 2, and then I have another set so you'll see things probably turn off. Although I am thinking about ending this stream. Super thirsty, I should probably drink some water, but we've been here for 45 minutes, have 65 people here, 78 thumbs up. Got to talk to a lot of lovely people, which is exciting. Also, I should point out that if I ever get any super chats in any of the live stream, which by the way, you don't feel like you have to do super chats, but if it happens, the proceeds from that go directly into supplies for fishy things. Just letting you know. So if you want to support the fishiness that's happening down here, that is welcome, but it's not something you have to do. Watching my videos is already appreciated enough. Let me just quickly look at some stuff here. See if I miss anything. Life with Pets saying that fishless cycle is the best. That's what I prefer. I just seed my aquariums from pre-cycled filters from other tanks. So I have a couple tanks that have 2 filters. That one has 2 filters. See, run 1 and 2 on here. And then in the the grow tank, I have a filter and a hang-on filter, so I have 2 on there. So what happens is when I need to get other tanks started really quickly, I just will take 1 filter out. So I have something pre-ready. So I don't really have to cycle. With this tank, I'm probably going to move in another sponge filter, or I might add one of these smaller hang-on-the-back filters up there, and that will already be cycled. Because they're all fairly small filters, though, they won't really be able to handle a large bio load, so I can only probably add a very small amount of fish at once and just kind of slowly add fish over time. So that's the general idea, but Matt's Pets and Plants says, have you ever kept tetras? If you'll rewatch this video, I have a whole story on tetras. Once this video goes live. Kendall's Chris says, how do you make people mods on live streams? If you're on desktop, if you click next to the person with the little 3 dots in the chat, there's a add moderator option that pops up. Or if you go to your YouTube settings, I think it's under community tab, I think there's like a whole area where you can add screen names to add moderators. That's also the same page where you can choose certain words that are blocked. So for example, on my channel, I have a couple swear words that are blocked. So if someone is swearing at comments, then that comment is not particularly blocked. It just goes into the section of to approve. So I can look through it and I can see, like, is this person swearing because they're upset about something of their own, or are they swearing at someone else and going after someone? That's kind of my way of trying to prevent people from insulting other people in the comments. I try not to censor my YouTube comments, but I just don't want any fighting between people. So if you're saying bad words, and just for yourself, I might let that comment go, because of course, I'm 28. In my normal life, I swear all the time, but because I try to keep this family friendly, I try to keep my comments section pretty clean, just so all the kiddos can come and enjoy and hang out, and your grandma can watch my videos. Someone that might be offended, I don't know. It's just easier, and especially with all the apocalypse stuff, it's really important nowadays to try to keep your videos family friendly. So that's what I try to do. So I think, Mookie's back. I think on this note, it's been 49 minutes. I've been on here longer than I expected, but I really always enjoy doing these live streams. I am going to end this live stream. I appreciate everyone for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. It's nice. It's been kind of therapeutic talking about not only Demon Betta, but also about my worries and thoughts about Betta's lifespans and pet husbandry. And it's in a way, sometimes we over criticize ourselves, which can be a bad thing, but also remaining critical and trying to see how we can improve is also a good thing. So it's like a double-edged sword, I guess. I don't know. So I'm glad to have been able to kind of talk to you guys. It's like a little therapy session for me. I hope that, it'll get you kind of thinking about fish lifespans, and maybe if you think about it, it'll help you improve. Like, look at how you take care of your fish, and you can see what you can improve, and I'll improve, and we'll all improve together, and we'll be really, really awesome. So Life with Pets says good night. Everyone else is saying good night. You guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me. And on that note, I am going to go and eat my late dinner because Daniel just got here and he's hungry. So let's we're eating some leftovers from Super Bowl leftovers. So I'm going to do that. Thank you for joining me, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.